Hello there, my friends. It's Ashley Pfeiffer, the maker behind Stamped AF. For this month's Creativity Without Borders, Kelly and I are using the Freezin Fun bundle, which is this little cutie. So fun. This is a super fun card. However, you probably wouldn't make it for everyone on your Christmas list. It uses 2 card bases. There's a lot of coloring and a lot of die cutting. So I think this would be for a very special someone in your life. So let me show you how I made it. I'll keep my sample just right there so that I know what I'm doing. So we are starting with 2 side folding card bases. So these are 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4. And what we are going to do is attach 2 of them together. And then we're going to score this at 2 1/8 because that's half of 4 1/4. Got a bunch of stuff here. So let's score this part first. So 2 1/8. So we've got a valley fold, and this one is going to be a mountain fold, and I highly, highly, highly recommend you use a bone folder because you want this to be a nice, crisp fold. Well, I think you want all your folds to be nice and crisp, but that one particularly. And what I did was I used Stampin' Seal Plus to connect my 2 card bases. The reason being is it's really strong and it won't show marks, and I'm out of Stampin' Seal. I only have Plus right now, and I will tell you, I love this one. I love those little rectangles on there. Okay, so now we can lay this out, and we are putting these 2 together. So I know this is a little awkward. I recommend going to that fold line. I'm still holding the top part up, and then just lay it down and burnish. Okay, so that's not entirely even, but you know what? No one is going to notice. And I will guide you in that if you choose to not use a full card base, you will see light coming through there, which is why I recommended 2 card bases. So this is another one of the reasons that makes this a very special card, is there's a lot of cardstock in there. Okay, so the next step is we're taking a 4 1/4 by 5.5 piece of balmy blue, and we're taking our balmy blue ink with a blending brush, and we are going to darken up the sky on here. Now I've got a piece of 4 1/4 by 5.5 piece of Whisper White to hopefully get all of my stamping done on there. And then I have 3 snowbanks. So this is that fun die that's part of this bundle. And there's always the option to add on the bundle. All of the details for registration will be in my blog post, so you can find everything there. So what we're going to do is, once we have that balmy blue piece, we're going to put 1 snowbank there. We're going to put 1 here. And you're probably thinking, oh, well, you can see that, but that's okay, because we're going to put 1 there. And you can kind of see through it, but you know what? In this instance, I don't mind so much. So I'm going to keep those there to kind of keep them in place. And then I'm going to ink up my blending brush and just start darkening. So that's that. We'll leave this out because I want to do my sentiments on the front and the inside using balmy blue. And I'm going to add this using Stampin' Seal Plus. So not only am I out of Stampin' Seals, soon I'm going to be out of Plus. Don't worry, I have an order coming. Okay, so line that up to the bottom. And in the same way we got that card base together straight, we're going to do that. So don't burnish it until you know it's in the right place. And if it goes a little bit above, that's okay. You can trim it off, or you can leave it as is. This. And let's adhere our snowbanks. I am going to use glue for this, and I'm not going to go all the way up to the top because if you notice on my sample, I have at least one tree tucked in there. So I need to be able to get that in. Okay, and then we can do the two on the front. I would start with the one that is coming from the right and going left, if that makes any sense. And it's okay that those don't match because this is going to be standing anyways. So no one's going to notice, oh my goodness, it's not the same. Now you may need to give your card base, all those creases, another burnish. Now we'll add this one. We're going to do the same thing. We're not going to glue all the way to the top because I need to tuck some things in there. And we'll put this one on top. So this card is pretty substantial already, just with all these snowbanks and card bases. And by all means, you do not have to add all of the different pieces that I added. You could just have that. And actually, when I started designing for this class, this is what I had. But then I wanted to I hadn't used the raccoon yet. I actually have used those. So we could narrow this one down so that we don't have so many pieces. We'll see. Because if you purchase the tutorial, the class kit, which comes with a video tutorial, you will see how I colored these three. I don't have this guy in the kit, but I will color him for sure this time, and you will get to see that. But when you purchase the kit, you get the supplies to make 2 each of the 4 cards that Kelly and I have designed. She designs 2, I designed 2. You get all of the cardstock pre-cut. It won't be this one because this is my bonus project, but you get everything all ready for you. All you have to do is stamp and die cut these pieces. And you get the Snowflakes blender DSP, you get metallic mesh ribbon, you get the snowflake sequins, you get so much great stuff. You cannot go wrong. I'll stop talking and let's get to stamping these little guys. So, bunny, penguin, and try to stamp them far enough apart that when you go to die cut them, you don't need to run it through a million different times. I know that we want the trees. I did use 2 of the little guys. So when it gets to the point of the coloring, I will speed through that. Otherwise, this video will take eons. Got my little snowballs. These look like seashells to me. We've got the snowballs that will die cut to be juggled by the penguin. I don't know if you can see that that's what it's supposed to be. So we need 2 of the large trees, 2 of the small trees, and everything else is just once. So I think we'll go with what we have here. So I am going to speed through the coloring portion. If you have any questions about colors or technique, please ask them in the comments below or email me at stampedaf@gmail.com, and I will see you back here shortly when these are colored. Okay, so let's get to assembling. Now, I highly suggest dry fitting all of this. Audition everything to see where it's going to go. Like, do you like the tree at the bottom of the hill or do you like it at the top? I'm kind of thinking it's better at the top so that the bunny's not running into the tree, but he's got to be careful. Okay, so the bunny is definitely going down the ski hill. The raccoon can go down this one, but keep in mind when you're placing these, I don't know if you can tell when I was doing this, these ones ended up probably a little bit closer than they should have, but I was trying to keep it where you could pretty much see everyone, whether the card was open or closed. So I don't want the raccoon like right on top of the rabbit. I want him kind of down here. And we've got one less critter and a few less trees this time. So let's maybe put the tree on this one. And then we can have, well, I guess the penguin needs to be up here. If I'm going to put his snowballs up there, he needs to be between here. And we can have one foot sticking out, or we can have no feet sticking out. And because he won't go in any further, I'm going to have to make him an amputee and take out that one little leg. But we can put a little tree there. We can put his snowballs here to cover that foot if we want, and then the other snowballs are going to go up there, and then we've got a bit more room for the sentiment this time around because it was kind of crowded before. So now that I know where everyone's going, I can glue them down. Okay, so these are all going to be in Pool Party, but well, we could actually just put it right on here this time, but I chose to use a tag from the Tasteful Touches dies because I just love them so, and I would highly recommend stamping first and then die cutting. So I have some scraps from a previous project. This way, if it ends up crooked, you've got a little bit of room to move your die around instead of trying to stamp into the die and getting it right. So let's do that. And I also want, there's a snowflake, and you feel free to use whatever snowflake you have, but I decided I wanted it from the Snowflake Wishes. And it doesn't really matter which one it is. Pretty sure I used this one, and I just used a piece of the Snowflake Splendor DSP, which is part of the package that you're going to get when you purchase this class. But I realized I hadn't used any of this DSP in the project, so I better bring in some, right? So you can choose any of the colors, any of the patterns. I chose this one because it had Pool Party in it, and it's already got so many snowflakes, so why not? Okay, so there's our cute little sentiment, which may still be crooked, but it is what it is. Perfection is highly overrated, right? And we can pop this out, and not all of the pieces come out. So you can use your take your pick tool, your take your pick die brush, whatever you've got on hand. Pop that out. And we're going to put a dimensional in the middle. If you'd like to mount this whole thing on the foam adhesive sheets, by all means, I think that would look cute. I can't have a banner going like that. I should have actually, before I put that on, I do actually want it to be facing a certain way. I want straight up and down and like that, so that we can see the most amount of the snowflake possible. So I'll just put a mini on the one end. Of course, all I got was the release paper. And then I'll put a little bit of glue on the rest of the tag. It doesn't work perfectly, but I think I might have even cut the snowflake a little bit, or I had it the other way, but you do you. Now, the only problem is it leaves so much room over here, so it does really need that seal. So let's do our sentiment on the inside and call that done. And I will include a picture of both cards, the one that we've just made now and the one that was my sample, and you can see the difference between having the seal and not. I really think there's too much white space over there. And then the only other thing is a little bit of Wink of Stella. But if you prefer, because this is already so involved, by all means just use some shimmer spray and shimmer the whole thing. I'm going to shimmer that whole tree. I know you're not going to be able to see this, but trust me, it looks beautiful. Put it on all of their little scarves and hats. We'll put it on the snowy part of the tree. And there we go. We are finito. So let me know in the comments below. Oh, we are not. I lied. One more thing. We need some snowflakes. So just add, I'd say 5 of them. We know that we always want to use odd numbers. Try not to make it too predictable where it's like a row of them. And if you find that you don't have enough, go up to 7. Like we can have one over here. You could have 50 snowflakes if you want. Let's have one that you can only see when the cards open. Okay, so there we go. I think that if the sentiment could have gone on that side, it probably should have, but isn't it just darling? Who wouldn't love getting a card like that? So there we go. Let me know if you love it with the seal or without. A lot less trees on this one. But I thank you so much for watching, and I thank you for your support of Creativity Without Borders. I hope that you will consider getting this kit. I hope that I've swayed you to give this bundle some more thought if it wasn't already on your radar. And I thank you for watching. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and we'll see you soon, my crafty friends. Bye.